So, dear colleagues, typography lovers, ladies and gentlemen, when somebody starts his speech with a sentence, "I want to tell you in short," you can be sure that it will be extraordinarily long and painfully boring. So let me please tell you in short. No, I'm sorry, it is a cheap joke. My name is Karel Haloun, occupation graphic designer, publicist, teacher, and last 7 years also official head of studio type design and typography on Academy of Arts and Architecture and Design in Prague. But in fact, I'm one of 3 teachers which are going to present to you here on one of our students' work called Bestsellers. You may ask, why 3 adult people traveling such a long way from Prague to Sao Paulo to spend less than 30 minutes on stage? And you'll be probably right. You can also say, wasn't the only one presenter enough? And you'll be right again. But on the other hand, it's a nice holiday, isn't it? I'm joking again. We just want to show you our teachers' team incomplete and tell you loud and proud that we are working really closely together. That's why I want to on the very beginning introduce to you my precious workmates, Mr. Tomáš Brousil in person and Mr. Radek Sidun the same way. Hi, guys. You can probably guess that sense of our mission isn't to greet friends and joking. We decided to divide our speech in 3 parts, which we called Academy, Studio, and Semestral Project. My task is to introduce you, in short, I can't stop myself, school which we came from. Hey, pictures. Our school was established 130 years ago under the name School of Applied Arts in Prague, and it's one of the oldest art schools in Central Europe. It's also a very small university with around 500 students. It's placed in the middle of the city in part called Old Town. After the World War II, the school gained the university status. Graphic studios has been important from the beginning. One of them was all the time focused on typography and book design. These days, the Department of Graphic consists of 5 studios: graphic design and visual communications, illustration and graphics, graphic design and new media, film and television graphics, and last but not least, type design and typography, our workplace. As I mentioned, our school is quite old, and it's necessary to point out that these days we have a 130 years anniversary. The celebration is accompanied with various events, including exhibitions of all departments and studios. Please take today's presentation as one of them.
A studio with an emphasis on typography, book, and poster design has been a part of the Academy since its beginning. Some of the teachers of the studio have been significant personas of Czech typography, such as V.H. Brunner, Jaroslav Benda, František Kysela, or František Muzika, the author of the famous book Beautiful Typeface. After the Velvet Revolution in 1989, the studio, under the leadership of Jan Solpera, in reality quiet and sensitive and somewhat shy person, experiences a wide flourish in creativity. The fall of the Iron Curtain released the before then suppressed creativity and individuality. The situation is somewhat reminiscent of a child exploring his surroundings. Peace, doves, and border guards on semestral posters were replaced by typefaces made from nails, chewing gum, or potato stems. Magazines were published about cyberpunk, Japanese porn, or embroidery. Everything was allowed, everything had to be experienced. Anything could be straight, bent, or blurry. František Storm replaced Jan Solpera as the head of the studio in 2002. He continued to support experimentation and individuality. Thanks to František, the pioneer of the Czech font digitalization, students' fonts were becoming fully fledged tools and a part of the Czech culture scene. Every assignment topic was interesting. The more morbid, provocative, and tongue-in-cheek, the better. What else could you expect from the frontman of the foremost Czech black metal band? By the way, just exactly how rich the palette of the types and styles of typefaces created at the Academy in the last 20 years will be documented in the upcoming book Typo 9010, which will map Czech digital fonts created from 1980 until 2010. At present, it is us three who lead the typography studio. Our differences in generations and aesthetic views are truly bewildering and keep not only the students on their toes, but also us. In our teaching, we try to divide attention equally between typeface design, its application, but also publishing books, magazines, and many more. Allow us to now present to you one of our assignment.
Hello. Let me introduce you to the main part of our presentation. 12 students divided up 3 winning trends through the most faithful bestsellers try to verify this analytical research in practice and answer the question of whether it's indeed possible to program a typeface so it will be a success. As the number of easy-to-use font editors increase, so does the number of new fonts. And this naturally causes all sorts of changes, especially in the area of selling the fonts, where innovation and equality once was enough, you now need aggressive pricing policies. The best-selling new fonts are often technically inadequate and of kind of average aesthetic quality. In our school studio, we have been dealing with type design for a long time, and often in experimental field. So the topic of salability is interesting to us because it's in sharp contrast to often non-commercial orientation. At the end of each year, the type foundries and distributors often proudly boast their sales numbers and popularity scores. What influence salability of new fonts? What criteria do you need to fulfill so that your fonts are successful? Isn't it embarrassing to call bestseller a font which you can't use for Central European languages? What's the recipe for the best-selling font? On the semester bestseller assignment, we gave to all students of our studio in the year 2014 assignment. So it was try to determine from fonts released in the last 2 or 3 years trends and modern approaches, and subsequently make a font which would be on the basis of these attributes and become a blockbuster hit. Well, assignment follows in details in the 4 steps. So step 1, organize work groups, collect sales and popularity chart data, process the results, and define a bestseller. We have incorporated both of the major distributors like Linotype, FontShop, and MyFonts into our research, but also independent type foundries and designers like Ondrej Job from Slovakia and many others. And we have managed to get the information from publicly available sources, but also with owner's permission, confidential information. So we took relevant data from the last 3 years. Well, On the basis of this data, we have found that most likely successful font will have the following attributes. It's a sans serif. It should be familiar with around 18 styles, or weights. Low purchase price, approximately around $90 per style. Any time of bonus, free style, free alternative characters, and so on. And of course, a significant discount to start off the sale, preferably 90%. Well, the research the studio students put together produced a clear result and demands for appearance and nature of trendy typeface. The absolute winner of all categories is sans serif or grotesques. The main foundation why grotesques are so successful and their multi-purpose application, nice price, and the free bonus styles. Following right behind grotesque are brush scripts. The main requirement for scripts is a number of bonus ornaments, swashes, and ligatures, all in one or no more than 3 styles. The price range is a bit higher due to a large set of accents, ligatures, and special symbols. The third most popular typeface is a handmade, trash or vintage font, whatever, created with a trembling handwriting, scratching layered effects, and a soft, girly handwriting style. This type is particularly popular due to low price, plethora of pictograms, and ease of use. What's interesting and a surprise for us that was the fact that although a lot of very interesting slab serifs typefaces were designed in the last few years, they were rarely at the top of the sales charts. Step number 2. With the knowledge in mind, design your own typeface with a full character set and high quality diacritics. Utilize local features. It's a bit difficult to speak about any local features in this project. The categories of best-selling fonts were given by the research, and these in turn partly dictated by the typeface style. But still, we wanted students to look for inspiration in the local Czech environment. On the other hand, we realized it's somewhat of dichotomy. For example, a hipster script is stylistically quite far away from Slavic folklore. In this phase or stage, this was no different than the usual work of type designer as all you know it. It was only more demanding that in that there was a lot less time available for it. In order to realize our experiment, we need to find a strong partner through which we could bring these fonts to the market. We therefore contacted MyFonts. We consider MyFonts a perfect laboratory environment because of their wide selection of fonts. We have appreciated their work, their evaluation team. They come up with various suggestions to improve the quality of fonts. And by the way, we have exchanged over 100 emails on this subject with them. So, in the end, we've got 12 typefaces that count 69 styles, altogether over 35,000 glyphs, even more, and all of that we've done it in 84 days. Well, and this is the result. There were 4 fonts for each of the most popular categories: sans serif, script, and trash or handmade. Well, let's have a look closely on each typeface and get a brief description. What is the typeface about? Abnormal. This is one of the few typefaces out there that features reverse contrast and no serifs. The design pays homage to 19th century poster typefaces with their crude characters and unconventional means of catching the eye. Abnormal features 4 style, and interesting is ranging from almost monolinear light to a complete reverse contrast bold. Blowbrush. Blowbrush is a handmade typeface painted with a Japanese brush marker on a smooth paper. While the font was digitized, a special care was taken to retain its handmade character, and the result is rough and authentic. The typeface offers one standard text style with set decorative borders, arrow segments, and many image characters. Clown is a striking headline font that uses layering of individual style forms. The font family comprises 18 various styles that precisely fit together, and you can simply cover one style over another and to create over 150 original typefaces. Joe 182. That's a script face based on authentic traces left by the thick marker. Joe 182 was named after the atmosphere of the streets of New York City in the 70s and 80s, where the script could be seen on almost every street corner in the city's neighborhood. Moniac Sans is a linear humanist sans serif typeface with a vertical stress axis. Distinctive for its open strokes, Moniac features generally broader typeface proportions to offer good readability and even small sizes. Unfortunately, the family doesn't have any italic styles yet, and I would like to stop here because it's quite interesting. It also seems like a trend these days that there are lots of new families on the market, and but they do not support or offer italics, and italics comes later. I don't know if you noticed that, but a few years ago, usually the designers they published the whole family also with a full complete set. But that's new age. I don't know. Monolinear. It's a three-style contemporary monolinear script that's based on the contrast between classical calligraphy and quickly jot manuscript sketches. All styles of monolinear are based on a single stroke of round nib pen. The typeface features two sets of capitals and curly uppercase letters, swoosh characters, and alternative lowercase letters. Rucola. Rucola is a friendly brush script that follows in the footsteps of sun painting. It kind of features an extensive character set and a set in the swatch alternative characters for more authentic original experience. And Rucola also contains small caps for writing in the large letters. Sandokan is my favorite typeface. It's a brush script font with character and morphology that nears Oriental calligraphy, Art Nouveau typefaces, psychedelic flower power 60s and Tuscan poster fonts from the 19th century. And the letter set is further accentuated by sort of exotic decorative details and often unusual connectors between lowercases. Senohrabi is an uppercase display typeface inspired by old sign at small Czech village train station. The Senohrabi is available in 4 interconnected styles. The first is a more or less preserved font written with a flat brush script, flat brush, and the rest styles follow up with the damage and erosion. Slurm. Slurm is a hand-drawn fun font. In longer text, it may work as well, a complementary for example, for comics and illustrations. And each glyph is an original, no shapes are repeated. The typeface features 2 basic styles, regular and bold, and each style also includes pictures that can be used for various occasions. Vegan. Vegan is a distinctive shadow, the distinctive shadow font Vega was which was designed by Czech typographer Stanislav Marshall in the 60s, was a source of inspiration. The skeleton is a typeface and was pleasantly optically narrowed. Vegan is a modern structured sans featuring delicate humanist elements. Sounds cool. And the last fella of our bunch is a Zirkel. Zirkel is a sans serif typeface which is obsessed by geometry. It contains 8 weights and 8 matching italics. Characters are geometrical, but of course optically corrected for better readability. Users should be delighted by alternative characters. So that's the family, and now move to the step 3. Presentation. Describe your typeface in a 1,000 characters, create a digital promotional pack, and printed specimens. The merciless or cruel time plan wasn't chosen without purpose. On a day of our semester exhibition, which also served as a final judgment of the works of students at the end of the semester, all fonts were available on my font's website. This day was also start of our research into salability and start of gathering feedback for our predictions based on previous research. Each font had its specimen printed, and we put great emphasis on this in our studio, and each new typeface gets usually its own printed specimen. To be able to objectively assess to the typeface market, we had to take a look at the issue from the opposite side as well, from the perspective of graphic design studios, the agencies that primarily purchase and use the fonts, and also the type designers who, like it or not, have to at least somewhat respect the client's or market's demands. To this end, we prepare a brief questionnaire that we send out to many subjects throughout Europe, United States, New Zealand, and the Near East. On all these interviews resulted in the total opposite of our assignment. None of graphic design studios or designers we contacted use the trendy bestsellers. They primarily work with the time-tested or custom-made typefaces. So the students' design bestsellers does face a serious challenge holding up in the top 10 list. Today, several weeks after ending of 1 year long observation of sales figures, we have prepared an overview of the result that we have discovered. So this is for the first time you are officially able to see them. By the way, speaking of that book, we have got a couple of them here in Sao Paulo with us. So if you want to have a look closely, just let us know because we will be around. Well, now we should move to the last step, and it's step 4. Create a MyFonts account and offer your font for sale. Here are the few facts that we have discovered. These are the sales results in the first 50 days when the new fonts have a chance to appear in the Hot News font section. The sales ratio didn't change as much for the rest of the year. And these are overall sales numbers after 1 year. It was possible to implement discount in the first 50 days, and we have left discount amount up to the authors. They had to make decisions for their business policy. And this is the effect the discount had on the sales in the first 50 days, as opposed to the selling for the normal price. The sales numbers clearly favor script fonts. Sans serif font sales figures were very bad. So, the guideline for the well-selling font in our case is: it should be a script, or press script to be precise, in one style, for a medium range price around $40. Of course, with bonuses. In our case, it was sort of like slash capitals and contextual alternatives. And of course, with an introductory discount, at least 50%. Well, our results differ from the original research, and that's interesting because thinking of observation we had at the start of our project, the outcome or result is completely different. So, the task was successful. Success with our students. They were able to experience working with in extremely short time frame. They were able to try out free market practices while still in academic environment. And either way, from observing of their further typographic development, they are continually mostly in individual directions and in authentic works. And we are very happy about it. This project got involved many people. And we would like to thank to my font review team, namely Jan Middendorp, Florian Harvik, who did a great job. Also, Dan Reynolds got involved, and other people from my fonts. We need to thank to Philip Blažek, who was like technical support, and he's also our new colleague at the university. We need to thank the students because they survived such a demanding project, and they dropped their completely private life and free time. And also many other people who got involved and helped with this project. In the end, of course, I need to thank you because you've been a great audience. Any questions? There's a man over there, up there. I can't see the face. Oh, it's Jan, isn't it? Oh, hi there. You should get a mic. You should get a mic, I guess.
There's one down here.
I think you should come on the stage too. Here. Two guys are missing here. Just sitting lazy guys over there in the corner.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I apologize. My English is not very Frenchy. I am native Spanish speaker. About clown, what software do you use to make it? About clown, what software?
What software to make clown?
What software? Glyphs. Yeah. Well, also we were also about to mention that half on half was in FontLab and the glyphs. So clown was in glyphs.
All variations of clown. Did you make using a plugin or each one to one?
Cloning or one-to-one? I think it means, did you do each character individually?
Pardon? Plugin for
clown.
For clown?
No, I don't think so. But I didn't personally. I mean, we were checking the whole progress, but I can't remember every detail. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Jan?
It's a Jan over there. I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared of him. He's a smart guy. I'm a bit scared of him because you're a smart guy. Please, be nice to me.
Okay, so I'm the guy that first said yes to the project at MyFonts.
Thank you.
Not because we thought that this could be a habit. It was very extreme because usually these are all people. The review team that I'm the coordinator of is a group of 5 people. Pat Light is more like an administrator. There are other people in California too. But Dan and Florian in Berlin, where I am, were the most important people to work with me on this thing. And we looked at it and said, well, these are good designers that are teachers, and we think it's a funny project that is sort of ironic about what we're doing at MyFonts. So let's go for it. But it was very short, and we usually don't do that because all of us are part-timers, and we usually need a lot of time to look at fonts, and especially if there are so many. But it was a very interesting thing to see, and we sort of said when we saw Rucola, well, that's going to be one of the bestsellers. Which it became. But then we were very curious about those sans serifs.
Yeah.
Because your research was good, but there was one error in what you did. You should have tried to sell one of those sans serifs with at least 80% discount. It would have changed the performance. And it's not, I'm not saying that, I will talk about that tomorrow too. It's not because I like that it's happening, but it is happening. And the sans serif that sell well without this big discount are usually by well-known designers. If you start with something that everybody makes and you're unknown, you have to pay attention. So you either put red lights on the corners or something like that, or you use the big discount. So it was one of the things that we were missing for our own fun to see how a new typeface in a very populated genre would do if it were presented at a crazy discount. So that was the one thing that was sort of like we were just checking what's happening and does it all work. The one thing that was missing was that, but that's probably because you were careful, which is also good. Thank you for the project. We enjoyed it.
No, we thank you.
All right, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Karel, Radek, and Tomáš. Oh, one more question. It's not on.
It's not on.
It's not on.
Turn the mic on.
Turn up the music.
No, I mean I can hear you, but
Hello.
hello there.
Thank you very much for the talk, Radek and Karel and Thomas. That was an excellent contribution to the business remarks being made in Indra's panel, I think, first of all. And then I have a short question. Did you also discuss the topic of names being a factor for your selling success with your students, or maybe with Jan even?
Yes, that was a
because rucola is a very international name, for example. Is it
rucola originally was supposed to name TT Daisy, and
no way.
And then the girl, she dropped that, and she changes to Kopik, which has turned out that she cannot use it for, someone has used that name for something else, and she ended up with rucola. But yeah, I think the name of the font is issue for any kind of designer. It's always difficult. They try to consider that aspect into their work and into their business plan. Speaking of that, but as it's so difficult, sometimes they choose weird names. I don't know. Maybe they try to get their attentions too because of the strange name.
And then you did make recommendations about it to maybe change it or something.
Well,
you tried.
No, well. It depends because they were part of the project. They had to decide. They had to choose their own policy, their own way. And try to actually what's possible, what's not. So we try to help them out with the process, but there still was sort of individuality and the name is part of it. So
thank you.
You're welcome.